Thank you for returning for Chapter 6 of Wildstar's History of Nexus. With their planet dying, the Cassians are ready to begin their long journey to a new home, a planet called Nexus. Chapter 6, Part 3, Cardinal of Virtue. The day was growing warm. Jarek knew as his hierophantic disk floated above the crowd that this was largely the result of covert Mikari weather manipulations. But the suns would have shone regardless. All was in alignment. Fervently, he caressed the virginal edition of the Vigilant Codex to his chest with one hand, while his other clenched the gold scepter into which his crown had been melted, periodically tipping it in response to the joyous cries below. Even in its inaugural pressing, the Codex was a substantial volume. Its contents ranged from writings by Azrion, Coral, Seraphel, and other esteemed emperors, along with a number of passages from Cassian scholars. Boiled down to its essence, however, its tenets were simple. "The masters of creation have ascended," Jarek's voice rang out from speakers placed discreetly throughout the city. "Soon we, their chosen people, shall follow." A million throats repeated his words, the litany rolling back to engulf him in a tidal wave of sound. "On Nexus, the holiest of worlds. But first we must prove our divine worthiness to the less fortunate. And if in their ignorance or malice they choose not to recognize it, we shall dispel their misconceptions." Fireworks exploded across the heavens in a coruscating constellation of his likeness. Jarek waved and waved. The multitudes knelt in crescents as his shadow glided through them. At the proper moment, stained glass banners shimmered into being behind him in blinding sheets of crimson and gold. Dominus brandishing his mother's sword, the Mikari visitation, Jarek himself holding the book. A bolt of energy lanced down. A holographic edifice materialized, dominating the skyline like a freshly formed mountain, the apotheosis of cathedrals. Below, the crowd screamed and swayed. Jarek smiled, the beams from the stained glass radiantly backlighting his white gold mane in a nimbus of polychromatic halos. "All hail Emperor Jarek!" the heavens bellowed. "Jarek the Mighty! Jarek the Vigilant!" The cheers of unbridled joy made the ground quake. "Jarek! Jarek! Jarek!" echoing the deluge of confetti that soon submerged his faithful waist deep. Jarek wept.